Welcome to Realizing Real Estate. Each week we will be issuing a new edition, an interview with an investor, developer, business leader, government official, scholars, and others, all who in some way impact the world of real estate and the quality of your investment. Real estate has many facets. We will explore many of them in these brief podcasts. Every one of our guests will be interviewed in greater depth and length on our weekly radio show, Our House, which is broadcast every Saturday at 9 a.m. on WBN 9:30 a.m. and 98.5 FM HD3 in the Buffalo Niagara Marketplace, but is accessible anywhere in the world on the Odyssey app or at WBN.com. All of Realizing Real Estate podcasts are available at the iTunes Store, and our House radio shows are archived on our blog at huntrealestate.com. Join us every week and give us your feedback and suggestions for future topics, also at huntrealestate.com. Welcome to Realizing Real Estate. This is Peter Hunt, and our mission on our podcast is to help you protect and enhance your investment in real estate, which is the mission of all of our programming. We have a very special podcast for you today. My guest is John Gavigan, the CEO of WireVault. And John, tell us a little bit about what WireVault is, but before you get into that, just a little background on John Gavigan.
Well, I am a longtime entrepreneur. I grew up in a family business. It was a great training ground, and I had very dedicated parents teaching us kind of the origins of business and treating employees well and paying your bills on time and things of that nature. And I caught the bug early. Decided to get some management experience at Xerox for a decade after I moved back and after college and things of that nature, and it was very helpful. I had a great career there. Built a business with my partner in Rochester. We ultimately sold it to Xerox. After scaling it was really my first real exposure to creating something for real that didn't exist out in the world, selling it, and then ultimately building a company and a team, and then selling it to a bigger entity that continued to treat our employees really well and our customers. So really exciting. After that experience, I caught the bug, right, the startup bug, and ultimately went on to run 43 North for a number of years and helped a lot of great pioneers in our community, people that really care about our community, build out an entrepreneurial ecosystem that candidly has really affected in a positive way the Western New York community, which is really gratifying. I've often said that Seneca One Tower does not exist had 43 North and Jordy Levy not had the vision to put 43 North here at the time through the Buffalo Billion program. So I did that for a number of years. It's great to see that organization flourishing. We had our first big exit a couple years ago with ACV, which was amazing. Now has 43 Foundation, which is putting money back into the community, and founded Endeavor here, which is a global organization that caters to later stage startups with great resources and mentorship programs and other entrepreneurs around the world. And so we just continue to grow. And now I run CrediVault, and we built an amazing product called WireVault that prevents our customers and clients from getting hit with wire fraud.
Let me go back to 43 North just for a second here. I've interviewed Jordy has been on the show several times, and Bill Maggio and others from 43 North, Eric Reich, people that have really done great things with that organization. As a matter of fact, way back when, we were one of the first to kind of seed money for Z80, I think that Jordy called it way back when, which was in the Buffalo News building, but that's another story. But they both have said, or all of them have said in one way, shape, or form, and you're alluding it to here as well, and that is that if this continues as it is, as a kind of a new sub-ecosystem in our local economy, that this could be one of the great centers for young people wishing to experiment with something new, try something new, build something new. Do you see it that way? And if so, how do we really keep these people here? How do we make them part of our greater community in such a way that so we're not relying on the age-old things that we always rely on, kind of the mother lode. Somebody like Doug Jamal comes in. Oh, here he is. Here's our savior. Then there was Adelphia. We've had all these things time and time again. But what you're talking about is little kernels that keep growing and growing and growing. That is a much more, I guess, a healthier way for a community to grow.
And I think I think there's room for both, and one supports the other. The reality is, and you've been selling real estate. You've been a massive, active member of our community for decades, and remember, our population was declining. So I'll get to it. You had a couple questions in there, so just remind me if I missed something. But you saw our population decline, right? I'm 53 years old. Like, my generation left because there was no opportunities in the late 80s and 90s, And so now when you add vibrant opportunities to have good work here that's exciting and innovative, what did we see in the last decade, in the last census, Peter? It was the first time that population in the Buffalo community went up, the first time in 70 years. 70 years. And in my heart of heart, knowing the effort that all of you guys put in, all of us put in, to building out an accretive part of our business community to provide great working opportunities in our community to young people, that had a direct effect on them wanting to be here.
Well, let me take that just one step further. People that have built businesses here and have done well, or just have done well in a profession or something, what has happened, just to your point about young people leaving, their kids aren't here. They went to college and they stayed in New York or California or wherever they went, Chicago, Florida for that matter. And so they say there's less reason for them to stay here. So do you see what 43 North is doing and Like Kind and spin-offs, all the stuff that's going on? Do you see that as a way to keep our young people here? Can we educate them enough about what's going on such that they won't see the mother lode somewhere else?
Absolutely. And I think there's a couple of reasons for it. Number one, it's already happening, right? When we were trying to create awareness of this, new element, this new ecosystem within our community, this startup ecosystem. I'll give you some statistics. In 2012, we did a total of $5 million of venture capital across 6 deals, total as an entire region. By comparison, Silicon Valley, which was number 1 in the world, in the same year did about 12 or 13 billion. So imagine that type of investment going into innovation and growing the next great tech companies and the Amazons of the world and the Ubers of the world and the new Microsofts, et cetera. Well, it was always going somewhere else. That's why they were making lots of money. That's why their real estate was going up. That's why they were selling fancy cars and their restaurants were packed.
Yep.
It's the reason why all of those public settings were getting facelifts. Why? Because you had people that cared about their community that were reinvesting in their passion projects. I've often said if we win with WireVault, Nicole and I are going to go build autism clinics.
Okay, so let's go back.
That's what happens.
Let's go back to that $5 million. What is it today?
At our peak, we were at $550 million, and we did it over 7 years.
So it's 100-fold.
It was 100-fold. Now, the entire venture market has been clipped ever since COVID.
Right.
It has come down in half, and the same thing has happened in Buffalo, Rochester. All the markets have come down and retracted a bit, but that's just the economy going back and forth.
So where would Western New York stand relative?
Top 100 in the world.
That's excellent news. Let's go to WireVault.
And by the way, that is top 100 in the world. Like, that is confirmed on Startup Genome, who tracks data on this. For the very first time last year, they put Buffalo, New York in their global 100. So you have the top 30 ecosystems globally, and then you have the top 100 emerging ecosystems globally. And we were in, I think we were in position 65. That puts us in the top 100 globally.
Well, that's very exciting. Let's go to WireVault for just a minute here, and then we're going to have to call it a day here. But how does WireVault play into that ecosystem, number one? And number two, what exactly does WireVault do, and how does it help people relative to as they consider the quality and safety of a real estate investment?
Couple questions there. WireVault is wire fraud prevention software, right? It's web-based. You pull it down. If you're ever in a position where you have to exchange banking instructions to consummate a deal, you should use WireVault because it's the safest and easiest way to exchange instructions. It's that simple. Wire fraud.
If I wanted to find out about it, what's the website?
You go to wirevault.co and you can sign up for a new account tomorrow and learn how to use it in 3 minutes.
Okay, so let's go to real estate transaction quick because we've only got a minute or so left here.
So a real estate transaction, well, you have to collect money and you have to disperse money, right? Buyers are depositing money and sellers are receiving money, and they generally are going to go through lawyers and brokers and escrow agents, et cetera.
And a bank.
And a bank.
Lender,
So you have to exchange all sorts of banking instructions and information between these parties, who, by the way, all have different security postures. So one of those people might not have long and strong passwords, and somebody might have already been breached by a cyber criminal, and they're just waiting to see what type of transactions are going to happen. So you have all these anomalies that happen, right? But you have to exchange the instructions. So what we do is encourage our real estate friends to exchange their banking instructions before the payments ever get issued. Collect your instructions safely with our system so that, in fact, when you go to make the payment, you know you're making it to the right person.
John Gavigan, I'm going to have you back, but I want to thank you for helping our listeners understand a little bit more about a real estate transaction, how they can protect themselves, and also to understand a little bit about our entrepreneurial ecosystem that's developing here in Western New York, and how we're doing, I think, a great service to our community by making it attractive for young people to stay here and see an exciting future. John Gavigan, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Peter, for having me.
I'd like to thank our listeners. We'll be back again soon with our next episode of Realizing Real Estate. This is Peter Hunt. Thank you very much.